On this episode, we leave Upington behind, cross into Namibia and make our way to Keetmanshoop. In Onseepkans, we find a riverfront campsite and cross into our fourth country, Namibia. In Grunau, we find fuel to make the 100-kilometer trip to the Fish River Canyon. In Keetmanshoop, we meet our Namibian family, hang out with a bunch of bikers, recruit some potential lifesavers, and visit the Mesosaurus fossil camp.
Subscribe below and let's hit the road.
After a super successful time in Upington, we opted for a quiet border and headed to Onseepkans. The Red Rock River Camp is based here on the banks of the Orange River.
Continue on R358 for 6 kilometers.
Arrived at the camp. It's a beautiful camp here, and the river is right at the back there. We just met a couple from Germany.
Welcome aboard!
Awesome spot. Check that view, and that is the bridge into Namibia. So outdoor showers, which is awesome. had a sit down with the campsite hosts, Madeleine and Roche. They've got an amazing story. Roche actually swam the whole Orange River, which is the longest river in South Africa. I think Southern Africa actually. All the way from the start to finish on like a boogie board, all in support of Down syndrome. And I'll see if I can get some photos from him to share it with you guys, but that must have been an amazing adventure. We're gonna hit the road just now. We're busy packing up. Go and see if we can get through the border without any issues. And then there's 100 kilometers of gravel road, but apparently it's a good road, so definitely going to be a hot day. Along with Uppington, this is probably one of the hottest places that we've been, but a wonderful spot. They offer 3 or 4 day paddling tours through the gorge on kayaks, which should be amazing. Also some stand-up paddling. We're just running some cooking oil through the PA biodiesel centrifuge. We were looking at buying an eSIM for Namibia just to have a connection, but it seems it's very expensive buying an eSIM online. I think it'll work best for like emergency situations, but definitely for us too expensive. So we're gonna go at it without connection until we reach the first town, which is Karasburg. Hopefully we don't encounter any problems where we need to phone anybody. Then we'll get a SIM card over on that side for about 20 rand. The South African side of things was very easy, very friendly. Everybody was very interested in the truck and the mission itself. Thanks, boys. Have a good one, eh? We've got very friendly service at the Namibian border. It's dead quiet over here. It ended up costing 1,051 rand to get Betsy through the border.
Yeah, there we go, heading through the border. Okay, bye-bye, have a good day.
Cheers, man! How's it in Namibia? Ja, ik ben bezig voor me. This is the house at the back when we are traveling. It's a bit scary. I've never been at the back here. this is where we are going to keep tonight. Our first sunset in Namibia. The campsite's well priced at 310 Rand for the night. We also asked them for some cooking oil. They got 5 liters for us, which will get us 15 kilometers, so we'll definitely take it. Also went over to the Grunau hotel and they've got 10 liters. We'll stop over there tomorrow morning. Lani's already made a buddy. This is our private ablution block. Such a lucky spot that we decided we're going to stay here because there's a good internet connection as well, so we're just going to hang in the restaurant today, get some work done, hopefully get the new YouTube video uploaded, which is way back. It's the Jeffreys Bay Hogsback episode. It gets really hot during the day, like 40 degrees Celsius at the moment. Apparently we've hit it at the right time because it's starting to cool down. Doesn't feel like it, but the locals say that it's definitely going to start cooling down. There's a lot of tourists you'll see around, especially the camping vehicles. Europeans are quite frequent visitors here. Yesterday's road was fantastic. It was the best gravel road that we've ever done. You can basically compare it in going on a paved road. It was so good. We could do 60 kilometers easy without shaking or anything like that, so it was very lekker.
Hier is ons van Grunau, so hierdie is eendagse ry om hier by die wild camp uit te kom.
Today we are off to a very cool spot. If you don't know what the Fish River Canyon is, stay tuned.
Hallo.
We've got 5 liters coming in from Toki's Deli, so thank you very much, really appreciate that. This 5 liter gets us another 15 kilometers. We're going to make another stop to hopefully pick up another 10 liters. Thank you so much to the team here for providing us with some fuel for the ride. Success. They're looking in the back now, but they definitely kept out some for us. Very friendly. Off to a good start for the day. Stefan organising some more for us. Thank you very much, Stefan. No problem. Appreciate that. They've got a lovely restaurant at the back here. Accommodation right around the corner. Got some chalets as well as a campground. We've got some trees, some shade, some sheep. So these are all rooms. It's a very neatly set out pub. Hopefully Yolanda doesn't get killed. There's a couple of gemsbok there. Don't know how good of an idea that is. There's a long horn. blown away. We've never seen something like this in our lives. Really something special. You gotta see it. If you're ever in Namibia and you don't go past this place, I don't know what you're thinking. We are running late. We've got to be out the gate by 7 and this road is rocky, so we're going slow. So we're gonna see if we can hit another viewpoint and then try and make it to the gate by 7. This is a no drone zone, so we're going to respect that and not get it up in the air. It would have been an amazing shot though, but I think we're just going to make the best of it and appreciate the moment. It's 7:15 now. We only live once, but there's also a storm approaching. Don't know how much trouble we're going to be in when we get to the gate. That's pretty intense.
I just touched that bed.
Okay, well now you're gonna... Not the most responsible decision, but definitely a worthwhile one.
You die once, you live every day. Oh, there we go.
Ja, ons gaan het rijden.
Ja, nee. Woehoe!
Ja, ons het ons kom soeken.
Well, when she wrapped her loving arms around my neck on the dance floor at Chelsea's bar, I should have turned her away, but how was I to see? I was fire and she was gasoline.
Hey, how's it going? We made it back to the campsite in time for dinner.
But we were both sad and lonely after what death had done. But like rattlesnakes kicked across the ground, I truly...
We got this amazing card, the Gondwana card, which gives you a pretty good discount on the campsite, I think 40%, and then 20% off all the activities. As well as on the dinner last night. Got the campsite at a pretty good rate of, I think, 330 bucks. And the card is thanks to Mike and Pauline that we met all the way in Eswatini way back in the beginning of the trip, who are regular campers, and they knew that this card was going to come in handy. And we've actually decided to hang around for another night because the internet connection in the restaurant's pretty good, so we can use that to send out some emails and hoping to get prepped for Keetmanshoop, where we're going to set up our next recruitment drives. I had a chat to the manager. He's got an amazing job, by the way, and he said that he might have 220 liters of used cooking oil for us. So that gives us 120 kilometers. Thank you very much, Chris. Really appreciate that. We're going to spend our last half an hour here mapping our routes in our Tracks for Africa Atlas.
Should we stay together or apart? But it's hard to be alone, and the future seemed I was fire and she was gasoline. locked up in the Chester County Jail. We both knew it was too far out of hand. Staring at 5 years in the penitentiary. I was firing, she was gasoline. Too much fire and too much gasoline. Well, we cleaned that mess up. We made amends the best we could, but we could not be together anymore. I can't say that I don't miss you, but we gotta let it be. 'Cause I'm still fire and you're still gasoline.
This looks like a spot where some have camped over. This does look like a lacquer spot to set up camp. It's a bit early in the day for us to set up camp, so we're gonna try and kill some kilometers. Ran out of oil on the one tank a couple of kilometers ago. I'm making use of the space and the time to pump up oil into the other tanks. Then I'm going to run it through the centrifuge and we'll be good to go up to Keetmanshoop. Still deciding on whether we're going to keep here for the night. There's a security guard over here. It used to be a campsite, closed down, but it is a lovely spot, and I'm sure when sunset comes around it's going to change up this whole scenery here. Town is dead quiet, and the first campsite I got to also dead quiet. It's like we're staying at the Schützenhaus. So we got ourselves a roof, a braai, a bed in case we get into an argument, and then a huge bathroom. Everything you need for 360 bucks. In at Chris and Betsy's place. It seems like it's meant to be. We were gonna head out to the campsite, which is 40 kilometers out of town, but we couldn't manage to track down a SIM card. The SIM dealerships only open up tomorrow, so we're going to hang around here, and they've got a great honesty system on the go. Betsy's told us that they don't charge overlanders, let them pay whatever they feel like at the end of the day. So like a donation, an honesty system, which is great. And it'll also give us a good opportunity to tap into the local community and the networks.
Oom Chris and Tannie Betsy would later become like family, could relate in the fight against cancer, and has contributed to our project ever since.
Hulle maak mieliemeel.
We found this spot on iOverlander. Chris and Betsy opens their home to overlanders traveling through Keetmanshoop. Here you'll sleep safe and be well fed. True Namibian hospitality.
Chris is big into the biking, and he's got a bike coming down now. It needs repairs. He's got all the connections in town. So if you're coming through with a bike, definitely stop. Sitting around the table, having a chat to Chris and the family. We've got our first person interested in signing up as a potential lifesaver. Dora, right over there, is going to be our first person in Namibia. We started with things today in Keetmanshoop. I got some application forms ready. Yolandi's busy getting all of the informational material together to send out to the Keetmanshoop locals. Chris and his wife Betsy are going to help us out with spreading the news, and they're looking at connecting with the private school in Keetmanshoop. That's going to be the perfect opportunity. Young, healthy, educated kids that can definitely make a difference. All of them with good contact details, email addresses and all that, for in case they ever do get matched up. Just met this gentleman from Germany. Also got an orca. I don't know if you remember on the first episode we saw another orca, and apparently there's only 4.
Take the next left to stay on M29.
We got an invite to camp out at the Mesosaurus fossil camp, about 40 kilometers out of town. We were in for a real treat.
We've just set up at our camp. We've got some new friends. We're at the Mesosaurus Fossil Park. It's a very interesting spot that we're going to check out the fossil trail, and we'll have a guide to show us around, but this is a good start.
Yolandi the bird whisperer.
Is it what you always dreamed about?
That's amazing.
it's a small world as we're in the middle of nowhere. Yesterday we went for a walk. There's one other couple on the campsite, and it turned out that they are from our hometown, Nelspruit. And the lady actually works at the Lowvelder, which is a local newspaper. And as we were packing up this morning to go and find some signal to get some recruitment drives organized, the husband walked over and stuck $500 in our hand. Definitely gonna go a long way in helping us out with some diesel.
The following week, Leonie, who works at the Lowvelder, released this article in our hometown.
We were on the lookout for signal, stopped over at Nulin. We're going to go back to the campsite. Apparently, we can find some signal going up the 4x4 trail.
Die diertjies het so gelyk. Met 'n lang bek met dun tandjies. En die enigste ander diere was hierdie soort visie, hierdie soort shrimp en 'n klein soort krab. Maar die Mesosaurus, dit was die dominante diere. Die kop met die tandjies, met die afdruk van die nek, met die afdruk van die rugstring, met afdrukke van ribbes en die stert en die twee agterbene moet nog in die veld daar wees, maar ek weet nie waar om te soek nie. En daar sien jy die agterbeen met die femur, die tibia, die fibula.
Alright, Betsy had a breakdown. Clutch pedal just disappeared under the foot. We're going to take a lift with the old worm and see the fossils and then come back, put the work clothes on.
Van die ou Duitse koloniale troepe, gedurende 1904 het die Nama mense, hierdie breimensies,
Ja?
het perde en beeste van die Duitse soldate gebyt. En terwyl die soldate toe die spore van die diere hierdeur gevolg het, het die Namas uit daai klippe begin skiet, en hierdie ook. En toe het hulle hierdie man doodgeskiet, en daar's ook 'n graf aan die ander kant van die kop. Maar dit lyk vir ons hulle die mense begrawe op die plek waar hy gesneuwel het. Want julle sien, hier is geweldig hard vir 'n graf, en die graf aan die ander kant is in sagte grond, en hulle is nie selfs skermutseling dood. Hier rus onderoffisier Johann Splitgerber. Hy was gebore die 2de van die 11de maand 1877 te Vrijnwalde. Dit is in die distrik Danzig in Pole. En hy het geval die 13de van die 11de maand 1904 op die plaas Spitskoppe. Jy sien 1904, toe was hierdie plaas se naam alreeds Spitskoppe genoem na hy koppie daar onder langs die pad. Het my seun hier rond gespeel, hy was Hendrik. Ja. Hy was so 10 jaar oud. Toe roep hy my van die trekker, toe wys hy vir my so 'n lyklip wat ek hier uit die pad uitgewerk het. En dit het so merke op die kant gehad. Toe kap ek dit so op 'n kraak, toe val dit op 'n stuk fossiel oop. En toe bel ek my ou swaar. Op daai stadium was hy 'n zoologie, 'n dierkunde professor by die Universiteit van Stellenbosch. Toe sê ek vir my, ek het nou 'n versteende kogelmanner geraamte gekry. Toe sê hy, nee, dis onmoontlik, 'n kogelmanner is te jonk, dit kan nie gefossileerd wees nie. En 'n sekere dokter Burger Olofsen het in sy departement gewerk.
Okay.
Toe sê dokter Olofsen vir my, dit is die Mesosaurus. Hy het sy dokterstesis oor hierdie fossiele gedoen. En ek is so gelukkig, ek ken hom nou baie goed en ek het geweldig baie by hom geleer. Die diertjies het soos hy prentjie gelyk, klein krokodilletjie met 'n lang bek met lang dun tande, maar die tandjies was te swak om prooi te vang. Hulle het dit net gebruik om die kos uit die water te filtreer soos 'n walvis. Gondwanaland was die ou superkontinent. Miljoene jare gelede was Afrika, Suid-Amerika, Australië, Antarktika, Indië en Arabië was een landmassa en hulle het dit Gondwana genoem. 270 miljoen jaar gelede was Suider-Afrika as 'n deel van Gondwana bedek met 'n dik yslaag soos wat die Suidpool maar vandag is. En so toe ongeveer 270 miljoen jaar gelede toe dit warmer geword het, toe die ys gesmelt en dit het al die holtes op die kontinente gevul. En op daardie stadium was daar 'n vlak binnelandse see oor Suider-Afrika en Suid-Amerika met baie moerasse en hulle was te mekaar. En hierdie diertjies het in daai vlaksee gelewe. Dit maak dit van die oudste reptielfossiele wat nog ooit in Suider-Afrika gevind is. Toe wys hy vir my hierdie merke hier en daai merke daar. Toe kap ek dit so op 'n kraak. Toe val hy oop op hierdie enetjie.
Wow.
Nou daar sien ons die afdruk van die rugstring met die afdruk van ribbes, maar die stert en die twee agterbene en die nek en die kop moet nog daar iewers wees, maar ek weet nie waar nie. En daar sien ons die voorbeen met die humerus, die radius, die ulna. Dr. Olofsen het beskryf presies dieselfde as die moderne diere, ook mense. Kijk, daar sien jy die afdruk van die rugstring en daar sien jy die stert. So daar moet 'n mooi een daarin lê. Daar lê mooi duidelik.
Wow.
Dis sien ons daar lê die fossielietjie binne.
Wow.
Ons sien net afdrukke. Hierdie diere het hier gelewe in die laat karboon-era en die vroeë perm-era. En dit was ons die tyd toe steenkool gevorm het. Met ander woorde, daar was geweldig baie plante in die water. Nou dink hulle met die baie plante in die water, was die water 'n bietjie suur op die seebodem en na baie jare het die suur in die water uit die bene opgelos. Toe bly net die afdrukke agter en dis waarom ons so baie fossiele het. Hulle sien die fossiel is die swak plek in die klip. Hy breek altyd oop op die fossiel want hy's hol. En die prentjies wat ons altyd van die dinosaurus gesien het, altyd hierdie penne op die rug. Daar sien ons daai dieper beentjies op die hoër deel. Ja, dis so duidelik. Ons is so gelukkig om dit te hê. Onder daardie bos aan die ander kant, daar was 'n baie mooi een. Maar ek het dit geskenk vir een van die museums in Windhoek. Dis in die Museum van Mines and Energy onder die naam van ons plaas Spitskop. Julle sien hierdie breinstuk daar. Hulle noem dit 'n coproliet. Die mediese dokters studeer die woord oor die wêreld. Coprolitos is 'n Griekse woord vir die versteende poel van die dier. Dr. Olofsen sê as ons dit onder 'n mikroskoop kyk, dan sal ons nog sien wat het hierdie diere gevreet. Grond opgestoot soos pap wat kook, so bloep,
Bloep, ja.
En voordat dit die oppervlakte van die aarde bereik het, het die drukking onder gestop en die magma het onder die aardoppervlakte afgekoel. So dit was subvulkanies, dan noem hulle dit doleriet. Maar as dit in die lug sou uitgebars het, dan noem hulle dit basalt. Maar later het die sagter dele wegverweer, toe bly net die kliptorings op mekaar agter. Hierdie krake het nie sand tussenin nie, so die spanning in die klip maak die resonansie. Is julle gereed?
Ons is reg.
OK.
Vader Jakob.
Vader Jakob.
Vader Jakob.
En julle is baie gelukkig,
Wow.
want die ouens wat nie die liedjie ken nie, hulle moet altyd terugloop ontvangs. Ek speel nog 'n Afrika liedjie, ek dink julle sal hom ook ken.
Nkosi Sikelele. Wow, well done, bro.
En uitgehol, dan het hulle vel daaronder gesit en dan het hy die pyle daarin gedra.
Okay.
So dit was die pylkoker van daardie naam kokerboom. Daar voel hoe lig is dit.
Ja, jene.
Dis mos nie 'n boom nie, dis mos 'n aloe. Ons sien dit aan die blare. En die botaniese naam is die Aloe dichotomum. Dicho 2 toma stamme. Hy verdeel altyd in 2 ewe groot stamme. Hierdie bome moet diep wortels hê om water te soek. Maar hulle het net vlak wortels en dun soos my vingers, maar hulle het baie van die wortels en na die reën, dan drink hulle die water vinnig op, dan stoor hulle dit in die stamme. So hierdie stamme is vol water, maar ons kan dit nie drink nie, is bitter. Dis nie giftig nie, maar is bitter. Hulle het net een stam, maar hierdie een het 'n klomp stamme, maar is baie eenvoudig. Hierdie boom was tussen 100 en 150 jaar oud toe hy omgeval het, maar party van die wortels het nog in die grond bly sit. Toe groei dit nou weer verder en toe vorm daar nuwe wortels onder die stam. Die ou Boesman het daai bitterblare gekou om die muskiete weg te hou.
Okay, so we are back at Betsy and this is my problem. Maybe it's just a bolt that fell out. If it's a spring, it's a bigger problem than a bolt. I found the problem. This actually broke. I'm going to take it out now and see if there's a plan I can make.
Okay, dis
Met die agternaam.
Okay, dis goeie nie. Draai nog binne. Okay, well done, Lovey.
On the next episode, we take Betsy back to Keetmanshoop, find some alternative fuel and make some new friends who go out of their way to help our project along. We collaborate with local bikers, chat to captive audiences and get fully stocked with used cooking oil to fuel the long desert stretch towards the west coast. After spending a weekend in Aas, Betsy continues down the road through an arid landscape where those who can adapt, survive. Closer to the coast, desert sands blow in, we arrive in Luderitz and explore the surrounds, meet up with a friend and even meet the mayor. Keetmanshoop, a diamond village turned ghost town, is ticked off our bucket list before we kick things into gear to spread awareness.
The Matches on the Map project is proudly supported by our loyal Patreon members and our official partners.
Support our campaign by checking out our website, subscribing to our channel or becoming one of our Patreon members.